I had this idea of, one day I'm going to conquer this. One day I won't have to deal with this. I won't feel anxious. It won't steal my fun. I won't have to try to live my life like weaving my way around it or avoiding it and just thinking about it all the time. This year I was just like, that actually is not going to happen. I'm wired differently. I have to find ways to live with it. And I think that's what I'm like, I need to figure that out this year. I need to become a roommate to my anxiety. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Coach Cody podcast. It is the first podcast of 2026, which is, I don't know, I guess kind of crazy. It's another year. I feel like years just go by quicker and quicker, but at the same time feel slower while you're in them. I don't know. It's like they just kind of get shittier too sometimes. And I know 2025 was a rough year for a lot of people. I have not heard anyone say they love 2025 and it was just the best year yet, but I haven't talked to everybody. So if that's you, let us know in the comments so we could be happy for you. But yeah, so Dez, how's it going?
Hi.
Are you happy to see 2025
Happy New Year.
be in the past?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yesterday was like, I kept kind of forgetting it was New Year's Eve and like because it just felt like another day. Because 2025 was just such a just a long, torturous year.
Yes.
And so it was more like, as much as it was like, okay, cool, we're starting a new year tomorrow. It was also like, fuck off, 2025. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were like that. A lot of people are like, I'm staying at home on my couch with my dogs because fuck this year.
Yeah.
So, that being said, a lot of really good things happened, and it was overall a pretty good year. There were just some like pure torturous moments as well, and some struggle, so definitely looking forward to starting the new year, seeing how I can maybe change things up a little bit, make some reasonable goals that are like actually attainable possibly, and just learn more about myself this year. How about you? What do you feel like about 2026 coming in?
I mean, I would be lying if I said I was hopeful. I
Yeah.
think I would love to be hopeful. I feel like I usually am at the beginning of, the year, but I feel like with the past 2 years, I've grown a little bit cynical, I guess, in a way. I love goals. I've always been someone to make New Year's goals. Still gonna set them, but I feel like I'm definitely approaching it with a different mindset or a different energy going into it. Don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but definitely happy to say goodbye to 2025. Lots of ups and downs. I would say there's definitely still some ups that I am trying to also remember, and also acknowledge there was a lot of growth that happened, and we moved in together. There's still these things that are positive things amongst all the other chaos, but I would like to spend a year that isn't just being in survival mode. I feel like that ended up being the theme of 2025, which is the last thing that I would want my year to really, be the theme of. So
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, life's too short. You don't want to just get through surviving. You want to actually thrive and enjoy it. So I think that's definitely something I'll be looking to bring into, 2026, which is at the same time, like, I have some cynical bullshit wrapped around those words and those thoughts because I'm pretty sure I said the same thing last year. Like I was recovering from the financial stress of the business coach. And, you know, I think my theme last year was fuck it mode. Basically, I just try not to care so much. And I don't really even remember what the theme was really about besides fuck it mode. I think it was like probably not overthinking, um,
Yeah.
and just going fuck it and just doing it, making mistakes if I needed to, and not getting frozen. You know, basically messy action kind of situation. Uh, and I think, you know, I would like to carry that over into 2026. But there's this like, how many years have we kind of thought about this or had like those messages or themes of like be brave or like fuck fear, you know, and then you spend the year exactly how you did any other year, like afraid of fucking everything and doing nothing. And so then that's where I'm like, okay, so how can we make 2026 different?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I get that. I think I think you achieved more fuck it mode this year than you ever. Maybe it wasn't a year full of fuck it mode, but you definitely got somewhere.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's definitely a lot of areas that I wasn't happy about as far as, you know, progress goes and everything.
Mhm.
But, you know,
Yeah.
we can go into that more later. I don't want to sound too much of an asshole or a downer at the beginning of the year. So,
Ba
welcome to
babe,
2026.
all of us, it's listen, all of us feel that right now.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know anybody, like you said, that's like, "Oh my gosh, here we go, a new year." No, it's like, we are dragging our asses out of the dumpster fire that was 2025, and we're just gonna do our best,
Yeah.
you know? We're just gonna do our best.
Yeah. I think the thing that I'm, you know, thinking about just focusing on is, you know, sticking to your values and sticking to like a few goals that are kind of anchor points. I'll get into that more later and kind of tell you what mine are. To basically be like, if nothing else, if you are not able to do anything else, here's the things that you need to stick to consistently to help move yourself forward, or just so you could at the end of the year look back and think or see, be like, I still did this, you know, I still did XYZ. It was maybe small, but it was something. So
Yeah.
yeah. How about you? Like, how are you feeling? Like, as far as goals and I just feel like I'm struggling with trusting myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And so,
absolutely.
how are you feeling going into
Uh,
it?
I mean, hmm, it's funny when you said, like, the past few years I've been trying to like get out of like I've been just living in survival mode. Um, I I think I've said this before. I feel like I've lived in survival mode for 37 years.
Yeah.
So, so it's like I'd love to get out of it. But in order to do that, I'm learning that I have to call myself out on my own bullshit and unlearn some things and relearn some things, some really bad habits, and you know, some deal with some stuff that I have to deal with in order to make better decisions, stuff like that, and you know, live less in chaos slash survival and more in like I wouldn't say peace and tranquility because I'm a mom of two like an 8 and 10 year old little boys, but as peaceful as possible.
Yeah. Well, like peaceful, not in the sense of noise, but peaceful
The
in the sense of
stability.
mental, like calmness and
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
life, right? You can't always
Yeah.
control it, but I guess it's about
No.
those coping mechanisms and staying
Absolutely.
grounded when those things, you know, like when shit
Yeah.
happens and not letting it take over and
Yeah,
drive
absolutely.
drive the bus or train or airplane or whatever the fuck you're driving these
I
days, you
was
know.
I was driving the fucking struggle bus all year, and it's funny because it was the struggle bus was literally the struggle of trying to control everything,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely going to try to release a little bit of that control, and that's really, really difficult. Really difficult. But, I learned a lot about, how much trying to maintain that control actually like, how much harm it does to me and to others, and so, yeah, that's kind of like my kinda thing for this year is, like, learning to release control, handling what I can, coping better. It's a lot for 1 year, it's not all gonna happen, but I'm gonna try, and being present, right? Being present, like, it was really strange, but when Avery turned 10 this year, it was, like, very, like, just moment of, like, "Holy shit, I have a 10-year-old. There's 8 years until he's, like, an adult." And
Mhm.
he might move out, maybe hopefully at 18 and like and no, just like and get some independence and go to college and anyways, the point is like they're growing up so quickly and I have spent many years of their life in survival mode and not present. And I regret that because there's many moments I see on my phone, like on, when memories come up and stuff, videos of like, I don't remember this moment, you know?
Mhm.
I do not remember this. And that's because I was not present for a lot of them. Not even just this year, but literally their whole lives. And so I'm, I really want to try to make the most of the time I have left with them, being close and young and wanting to be around their mommy, and be present for them. And then also for you, you know, yeah, I just want to be a more present partner. So in order to do that, I feel like my main goal has to be to let go of trying to think my way out of everything and control everything, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's that. Yeah, it's exhausting,
Oh my
especially
god.
since we can't control much. So it's definitely helpful to focus on the things that you can control. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Uh, I think, anxiety is just one of those things. And I was kind of laughing to myself because I was thinking about, yeah, because I journal, right? I was reading back my journals from literally the last 4 years. And this is why I've
Uh-huh.
come to this place where I'm like, I've been saying the same fucking shit. And it's frustrating. And you get to that point where like you're
Mhm.
tired of yourself, you're tired of your own bullshit. And yes, I accomplished some of the things that I wrote down, some. But the main thing that I have that I feel like I have not made as much as a dent in would be anxiety for sure. Uh, and I'm trying not to like just be mad at myself or beat myself up because I know it's a process and I have done things to purposely and intentionally work on it. But
Yeah.
I just think this year it hit me in a way that I didn't expect. I don't know. It hit me in a way where I had to accept that anxiety isn't going anywhere, if that makes sense. I feel like my
Yeah.
whole life, or just I had this idea of, one day I'm going to conquer this. One day I won't have to deal with this. I won't feel anxious. It won't steal my fun. I won't have to
Yeah.
try to live my life like weaving my way around it or avoiding it and just thinking about it all the time. And this year I was just like, that actually is not going to happen. I'm wired differently. Uh, I have to find
Yeah.
ways to live with it. And I think that's what I'm like, I need to figure that out this year. I need to become a roommate to my anxiety. Like I have to share my head with it. I
Mm.
can't keep trying to kick it
Mhm.
out
Mhm.
because then it just, it squats.
It gets worse.
It
Yeah, it
doesn't
gets more
leave.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and it gets more forceful and it fights you back. It fights harder. So basically, I have to just find a way to make peace with my anxiety and kind of look at it as this acquaintance or maybe even like a family member that is really annoying. You don't always like, but
An
you
annoying uncle that doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
right. And you tolerate it, and sometimes they help you, sometimes it protects you, but a lot of
Mhm.
times, it's just annoying and they
Mhm.
lie to you and just try to rile you
Mhm.
up. But
Should
you
give
know,
him a name.
I that is a way, yeah. Uh, I need to name mine. But essentially, I'm just like, this isn't going anywhere. I need to learn how to coexist with it and cope with it and try not to let it always just take the driver's seat. And I'll that's the journey of 2026. Getting to this point was not the most fun because when
No.
you're accepting the fact that you are just wired differently, society like doesn't work for you the way it does for everyone else, and you have
Yeah.
to force yourself anyways. And that's the hardest part about mental health problems is that it's why I would say anyone with like a mental health issue, you should realize like when you beat yourself up, like I I do a lot, you should be so proud of yourself when you do something because you have much so many more hurdles to jump through and work through to just do everyday normal shit that people don't even think twice about. You know,
Yeah.
going throughout people just go throughout their day and they just do things. Don't think twice. And then there's people who with anxiety or depression or whatever, and your brain is just on fire constantly, like overthinking absolutely every step of the way, or your body is just like in fight or flight and you're shaking or you're just whatever. And you have to push yourself constantly to just do the average things that society expects you to do. And you have to fit in this mold of how society works, how they expect you to work. And it can be exhausting, and it
Absolutely.
wears you down. So it's just like I feel like all this time I've been searching for something that's not going to make me feel that way anymore. That I'll just be able to do things and just like everyone else. Um,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna have to find a way that works for me. That's probably still
Yeah.
always going to be hard, but you know, doesn't take over my life. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a tangent.
No,
Sorry.
that's no, I mean, that's some good shit. I think that's an incredible goal for you. Um, and I should probably follow along. I think you're gonna have to build a system, right? A new system of coping and dealing. And I think that accepting something is always the first step, right? It's like AA. No, but
Yeah.
like accepting that there's an issue is always and it's an issue and it's gonna be an issue is like a really important part of it. And so I'm proud of you. I think you're doing some really fucking hard work and it takes a long, long time. And that's hard. Being patient is hard. When you're doing hard things, you're like, I just want to be through the hard things, right? I just want to be through the hard things. But you're learning so much about yourself and you're gonna get there. I've seen so much growth in you. Like it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Wow.
So but I know
Well, I
I'm not
appreciate
you
that.
and I can't like I can be as proud as of you as I want to, but it's still up to you to find that pride in yourself. So
Appreciate that. I think uh it I don't know. It's hard to describe. I know people on the internet or whatever I may not it, I feel like I try to put across like how bad my anxiety is, but I don't know how unless someone was with me for an extended period of time, they would like kind of see how it worked. I know like what I mean when I say what
yeah.
like everything. Uh but when you have like your own podcast and you're on the internet, people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you have social anxiety. Why the fuck do you have a podcast, you weirdo?" But it's like, yes, I know it's weird because it's not that I don't want to be social. I think that's the
Mhm.
biggest misconception. And I'd always be like, oh, I hate people, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not. It's just that it causes me
Mhm.
anxiety. And so I just want to say that to protect myself. But obviously, I don't hate people. I'm a coach. I love people and love helping them. It's just, anxiety.
Your anxiety's held
Uh,
you back,
a lot,
you
a
know?
lot, a lot. So there's been, I feel like a lot of things this year have had to grieve in a way. That's the part that comes with acceptance and just accepting that this is how you are. There's nothing wrong, even though people, And when you're the awkward, quiet one, you're always perceived a certain way. Either you are like pre transition, I was perceived as stuck up or dumb or whatever. Now I'm perceived as either dumb or intimidating, which is interesting. So yeah, anxiety 2026. I just keep, I think that's just been the biggest thing on my mind.
Yeah. It's a
Anything.
good place to start. I think you're starting off on a good note, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be positive and like, oh, I'm so full of hope. It's like, nah, I'm just determined to like figure this shit out. And that's
Yeah.
okay too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's like the business side of things and like you mentioned, trying to control everything and you just can't. You cannot. And so that
Yeah.
comes back to the full circle part of, the things that you can't you can make business goals, right? And it's like I can't predict the outcome. There's not a foolproof way to pull certain levers to where it's definitely going to positively impact your business or whatever.
Mhm.
So that's where you focus on the things that you can still do every day to keep showing up,
Yeah,
that you can control. And again, I'll go into that
exactly.
later once we get into the episode more. I just took my ADHD medication, so I am just
Me too.
going. Sorry, guys. I just keep talking. So, Des, thoughts, please.
Oh no. No, I think that's a really good way to start. I mean, it's good to be real with people, especially right, we've all just been through it. And so being real is important. Like we're not gonna front and be like, oh yeah, 2025, we killed it. Like, oh
No, or I
nope.
just don't want to be like the hype man or be like, don't
No.
worry. Like, I don't want to be a cynical asshole, but I also want to be realistic. And I don't want to be that coach
Yeah.
that's like, uh, you know, just all toxic or positivity going in. It's like
Yeah.
we've had some shit happen. There's still a lot of shit
Yes.
happening
Yes.
collectively. And you know what? We can't control everything, but we
That's
can
right.
still make it a better or decent year, depending
We
on
can
your
still get through
outlook.
it. That's right.
And yeah. So uh should we dive into the actual
Yeah. Happy freaking New Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Sorry if that was a Debbie Downer moment. I just want to I got to be real,
You gotta be
I
real.
can't just go on pretending that like 2025 was perfect and I'm going to fucking kill 2026 cuz I just don't know. So if you are like me, if you've noticed, have you been getting like a bazillion emails from fitness companies
Yeah.
or any newsletters? I mean,
So
first
much.
there's like the Black Friday sales and shit like that. But then fitness, right? So now you're getting emails about new year, new you, getting in
Oh
shape,
yeah.
all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
So if you are getting a bunch of emails or ads, probably a lot of ads, about supplements, weight loss drugs, weight loss pills, programs, whatever, please be careful about what you are believing. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But if you are looking for a supplement company that, okay, I'm going to emphasize supplements are supposed to be supplemental and you never need supplements. Supplements. Did I say that? Supplements. You never need
Supplements.
supplements to achieve your goals. They're just supposed to be a supplement. That's why they're called that. So it's supposed to supplement your already balanced meals, your already healthy exercise routine, that sort of thing. It is not going to do the work for you.
Yeah.
That being said, if you are looking for a company that create or produces quality supplements that taste good and help, I would highly recommend looking into Legion. Yes, I am sponsored by them, but I have been using their products for years, way before I was sponsored by them. They have the best protein powder, in my opinion, and
It's so
also
delicious.
yes, pre-workout and supplements like their fish oils, their multivitamins, vitamin D. These are all
I use the
things.
immunity pills.
Yes, especially right now with the
Mhm.
flu going around. They have some, not only like third party tested, it's scientifically backed. So a lot of the formulations that they use are actually like have a scientific reasoning behind them and how they're dosed specifically
Yeah.
and all that. No, those blends that they,
Proprietary.
I can't, 2026 starting off strong. I can't even speak. Had a stroke. Sorry, guys. Got to close this off now. Thanks for joining. But yeah, so it's actually dosed appropriately. And yeah, they're evidence based. You're not going to get any fillers, any sort of that bullshit. You really have to be careful about the protein powders that you use. If you did not notice, at some point in 2025, there's also an article floating around about finding lead in protein powders that were not
Yeah,
third party tested, or they just didn't contain like the right amount of protein. So make sure you are getting a brand that is third party tested to confirm that you're getting what you're actually paying for and that it's safe, because supplements are not regulated by the FDA in the same way that food is.
right.
So when the supplement company actually like makes sure to test their shit, that means they actually give a fuck. So Legion, if you would like to try their stuff out and ignore all the other noise that is coming at you, highly recommend it. And, so if you want to use my code, Coach Cody, that gives you, I think it's 20% off first purchase, then 10% thereafter. And they're always having sales. One just ended,
Okay.
unfortunately, but I'm sure there's going to be another one that pops up. But if you use my code, you will get a certain percent off. So, yeah, if you got some New Year's goals, I would definitely recommend mostly. So, you got the protein powder, and then creatine is a great one. It's one of the most studied supplements that actually does help with strength goals. And there's also some new evidence it helps cognitively. So, not just for lifters, also can help your brain.
I probably need
Uh,
to hop on that.
Vitamin D is one that we tend to be low on as well. Do get some blood work done first, though, because you can OD on vitamin D.
Mhm.
It's fat soluble, so you can't just piss it out like B12 or something along those lines. Then fish oil. Always recommend that for your omega-3 heart healthy fats, and a multivitamin for insurance reasons, just to make sure you're covering all bases. So again, Coach Cody's the code. Ignore all the other shit unless, there are other reputable companies. But of course, I'm a little biased. I'd say go with Legion. All right, now that we're done with that,
Agreed.
so diving into the actual topic. So, you know, why most New Year's goals fail. And usually we think it's a discipline problem, but that's not necessarily always the case. So, what is the reason? So, discipline, I feel like it often gets a bit over romanticized. Got the Goggins, stay hard. I'm sure. I feel like New Year's is probably his most popular time of year that,
Probably.
people are watching his videos, or people are doing like the 75 hard starting in January or something like that. And yeah, but the problem is sometimes when you start too hard, you end up burning out. And then before you know it, it's like the end of week 1 or 2 in January, and you're already like falling off. You're just,
Fuck
oh
this.
shit, I didn't work out. And then you just kind of all or nothing mindset. You're just like, I'm going to do this cold turkey day one. And then maybe you have like one good day, and then just kind of slowly trickles off. Because that honeymoon period, I feel like it lasts like 2 weeks tops if you're lucky. So yeah, discipline is something, it works, but you need structure first. And discipline cannot fix chaos. It cannot fix a day that you're just kind of winging it, right? So you got to plan ahead. The discipline starts with the planning. So if you're not sleeping, if you're exhausted emotionally, if your schedule is just all over the place and your nervous system is just overloaded, yeah, it's not discipline that you need. You
No.
need to start with foundations first, with that structure. So yeah. why January goals are built, on bad assumptions. So here's the thing that I didn't want to believe for myself, because
What is it?
I feel like I said this last year. I was just like, this year's the year. It's gonna be different. Telling yourself this year will be different, even though like the last year you didn't follow through with anything. You're like, doesn't matter. This is the year, which I applaud your positivity. There's nothing wrong with
Good for
that.
you.
The problem is with the if you're being realistic, and you can completely still work towards those goals, but you got to go a little slower. So if you tell yourself this year is going to be different and you're not changing anything underneath, that's obviously it's not going to be different. So if you have the same stress, you got the same workout or workload, you're still not sleeping, you got the same habits. Uh,
Overcommitting.
yeah, yeah. Then unfortunately, 2026 is going to look a lot like 2025. Assumption number two that people make when it comes to New Year's stuff is motivation is going to stay high. Like I mentioned, that honeymoon period. It's great. I love the honeymoon period. At first, when you start getting things nailed in, you're just like, oh, yeah, I could do this. Is great, it's great. It's how you build momentum. But if it's too much, like if it's too hard, it's not going to be sustainable. So as I mentioned, it usually drops after like 2 to 3 weeks. This is normal too. So that's another thing. Just because motivation drops does not mean that something is too hard
Mm.
or that, you know, there's something wrong. You don't want it enough. Like it's going to drop no matter what it is. You just have to keep going. Remember your why and stay consistent. It's not always going to be exciting and fun. So assumption number three, this is the whole like, I'll figure it out as I go. Yeah.
Oh,
It just never goes well. Uh,
no.
the winging it, you got the decision fatigue, uh, inconsistency, and then you also end up like beating yourself up because you're wondering why you can't get your shit together. And well, it's because you're winging it. That's why.
Story of my
Um,
life.
yeah. So just because it's a new year, a new day, does not mean anything is going to change unless you do. So yeah, can you think of any things or like, can you relate? Do you feel like you've had any of these moments
Who are you
yourself?
talking to? Oh yeah. Um, I mean, I think I gave up saying this year would be different a long time ago. But I struggle with motivation. I have pretty bad ADHD, and so I get very overwhelmed by tedious tasks and tedious things in general. And so it, for me, it's not, I can't just wait for motivation to come to do it because it's never coming. I just have to do it, you know. I do have motivation, that comes and goes with things, with goals, but you're right. The honeymoon period is just it's great and then it goes. And then you're like, "Oh God, how do I sustain this?" So, that's where you try to work on having sustainable goals that actually like make sense and that are not
Mhm.
crazy. Um, so, and then the figure out as I go, oh, geez. Yeah. That's living in survival mode, right? That
Yeah.
is pretty much what I have been doing for a long, long time. And I keep trying to get out of it, but haven't managed to do so yet. Um, so planning is key, and man, I we keep saying this, but I still really struggle, you know. So, but decision fatigue is something that is really tough for me, and then I I go right into those shame spirals of blaming myself for not getting it together, and I'm so tired of my own bullshit and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's not it's a new year, same me, but I'm gonna try to do things a little differently, but we'll see what happens. One thing
I
at a time,
mean,
right?
exactly. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost if you just by being more aware and breaking things down and trying to make it more realistic,
Yeah,
that alone can make the year different than the year before.
absolutely.
So maybe this year will be different.
Maybe.
At first, I was like, maybe I can make this year different by just not making any goals at all. And I was like, no, that sounds awful. Why would I do
Definitely not.
that? I need goals. I love goals.
You do
Uh,
love goals.
so, yeah. So, why failure feels personal?
Ugh,
Why I was so not wanting to make goals this year. It's not personal, but we often like to make it, and we shame ourselves and all that. So it's it's emotional. Goals are personal. They mean a lot to us. Why else would we make them? So
absolutely.
unless it was something really ridiculous and you change your mind later, that's fine. You can change your mind, guys. By the way, if you
You
get
can.
to June and you're like, I don't want this anymore, cool. You can make a new goal. So yeah, so shame cycle. This is how it happens. This is how we end up falling off. We make unrealistic goals, or we expect ourselves to be perfect or too disciplined or too rigid. Then you
Mhm,
miss a day, you miss a workout, you miss a meal, whatever.
mhm.
And then you're like, fuck. And then you miss a week because you're like, well, I missed a day. I might as well
All or
just
nothing.
whatever. Yeah. And then you're like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I ever stick to my goals? So you start to internalize that failure instead of questioning the plan and thinking, oh, maybe I didn't set my plan up right for me. Maybe going to the gym 5 days a week is not realistic for me long term. Maybe I'm more of a 3 day, and that's if I can do that sustain. Maybe I would. I wish I could do 5 days, but I just realistically can't. So it's either five
Mhm,
days or nothing, or you could do like 3 days. Just take it down a notch. It's better than nothing. So
absolutely.
that goes again with making sure that you're making goals that are realistically like something you can sustain, not just in your best moments, but in your moments of chaos where life does throw shit at you. So the ability to be flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you failed resolutions before, you maybe just didn't have the best blueprint for that year or that point in time in your life. So it's okay to revise the blueprints. Maybe the goal is the same, but the blueprint's a little different. That's okay. So for me, instead of being like, this is the year I'm getting rid of anxiety, I'm like,
Oh boy.
this is the year I kind of learned to coexist with it and see how that works. That's different. I've never tried that. I've always just been adamant of getting rid of it. Let's try something new. How about you?
Yeah, so I'm a perfectionist, right? We both are. We both really struggle with that. And so I often have that all or nothing mindset, which is a very big struggle. And so definitely I'm trying to approach this year. I'm going to kill him. I'm trying to approach this year with like, you don't have to be perfect to be worth it. You don't have to be perfect to be good. You don't have to achieve every single thing. In fact, one of my goals like that I worked with on ChatGPT was like being okay with like just doing my job and not like being like, I have to advance this year. I have to get a promotion or I have to, you know what I mean? Like, because I have to keep achieving, achieving, achieving. Like this year, I'm going to work on just doing my job and being okay with that, you know? Um, so because it's just like the constant rat race of like more and more and more, it's never enough, like doesn't get me anywhere, you know? So it's very personal. And it's hard when you don't get to where you wanted to, but I think you're right. You can also change your mind. Life changes. Life changes. We've
Mhm.
had lots of life changes that have happened in the last year that we hadn't planned on.
Yeah.
And we've had to pivot and change
Yeah.
things. And that's just the way life goes. And so the flexibility is very important. And So yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to focus on. It's just being flexible and going with the flow and controlling what I can.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah.
Sorry, I got
So
so distracted by the screaming. I hope that made sense.
Happy New Year. There's children.
There's the children.
Yeah. So the reframe. So, goals should match reality. So how do we do that? How do we make sure they're matching your reality? So just know that good goals, they respect your current capacity. So it's not just about time that you have, but how much energy do you have, like
Mhm.
physically and emotionally? Those are always things to consider, because just because you have all the time in the world to hit the gym doesn't mean that you have the time, that you don't have the energy. Like, what is your capacity, especially if you're working with burnout? You always
Oh
want
yeah.
to address your energy, your capacity to do what it is you're setting out to do. You have to account for the stress. Got to account for the bad weeks, potential, that stuff. So that's why it's good to like allow some flexibility. You don't have to have like a concrete plan B for things, but give yourself a little leniency of like, okay, if XYZ happens, then I'll just do this instead. Not in a bargaining way, but give yourself concrete rules of if I am sick, I am not going to the gym. That's a rule.
Yeah.
So you're not going to bargain with yourself and be like, oh, we'll see how I feel. It's just like, you are sick. Stay home. No one wants your germs. And also, you need to get better. So, bad goals are going to assume that you're always going to have perfect energy. You're not going to be affected by stress. Nothing's going to go wrong. And that's just a way to set yourself up for failure. So don't do that. Bad goals also rely on motivation. So if you can only do certain things when you are super motivated, that's not sustainable. So be careful
Yeah.
about that. And there's always going to be some things that you have to do when you don't feel like it. Uh,
Mhm.
but like, if you literally cannot get yourself to do something unless you're highly motivated, you might need to address that. Uh, yeah. And bad goals also collapse at the first disruption. So if you don't make it to the gym one day because your car broke down and then you quit altogether, yeah, that's a bad goal. Or if, say, your hours at work change and now suddenly you would have to go to the gym at a different time, and that just doesn't fit your goal. I don't Where was I going with that? I don't know. Like, you have to be flexible. Like,
Yeah.
if something in your life changes, you have to be able to pivot with your goals and how you're achieving them. If you can't pivot them, or they're not the right goals for you from the start. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, you've had to really do that this last 12 weeks,
Yeah.
especially since getting that pick line out. I know you wanted to go balls to the wall, back 5 days a week at the gym, gung ho, like we're gonna put on some fucking muscle,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then reality hit you. Like that's not my reality right now,
No.
right?
Yeah.
And you had to
Yeah.
accept that.
Yeah. And it was a hard pivot. It wasn't in my control, but it was like I was still trying to control it. And I think just being able to acknowledge and accept that life is always going to give you stuff you can't control is really the way to be able to be flexible and succeed. Uh, yeah, just knowing that uncertainty is always part of life and working with that in mind.
How annoying.
I know, right? Can't even make plans because life keeps throwing shit at me. It's so rude, man. I wouldn't do that to life. But yeah. So, uh, yeah, your goal doesn't need to be super ambitious. It needs to be doable, survivable on a daily. So survivable goals equals ones that you can be consistent with. Uh, you know, they are ones that you can recover from, and it's not pushing you into burnout. See past like 4 episodes if you want to look into
Right?
burnout problems. We just finished up the stress series on that, so go back to those if you have not yet listened. So yeah, make sure your goals are realistic. That is like the thing I want to hammer home. That is the biggest thing I see with clients when they make goals that are not so realistic. The pattern is starting strong and falling off completely. Uh,
Mhm.
so if that sounds familiar, I challenge you to try something new. Make this year be the year that is different by starting small and being okay with that, even if it's painful. Like that's a challenge, you know? It's different. It's if the other shit didn't work for you, what do you have to lose, you know?
It's a very good point. All or nothing typically gets us nowhere.
Yeah, it does, unfortunately. It feels good at first because you're like, fuck yeah, I'm doing this shit.
I'm gonna fuck
And
this
you're
shit
all
up.
like, yeah, it's almost like a pre-breakup fitness journey or post-breakup fitness journey. Like people get some shit done after a breakup. But then is it sustainable? That's the question. Because sometime at some
Nope.
point you're gonna get in another relationship. You're gonna find someone else. So then what's gonna motivate you? You can't motivate yourself with anger and revenge and be like, look at me now, bitch. You have to find a new reason to motivate yourself or to like give yourself a new why. So
I
yeah.
mean, my why has changed so many times over the last 5 years, since starting to work with you, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Life changes, and your why will change too. As long as you have a good one, that's the important part, right?
Right. Exactly. How would you say your why has changed over the years?
Mm. Wow. Do we have to talk about this or no, just kidding.
Yes,
Um,
sorry.
no, I think, originally my why started out as, seeing my mom get really sick and die, and knowing that she was in such bad shape and just on the verge of diabetes already, and I was just letting life pass me by, and when I first started my fitness journey, my divorce absolutely played into it. I wanted to be more confident. I was tired of looking in the mirror, hating my body, and I wanted to feel strong again. And I wanted to fit into clothes that I hadn't been able to fit into for a long time. Um, I wanted to feel attractive. They're reasonable whys. But as things have gone on, um, as time has gone on, I don't think that's necessarily disappeared. Who doesn't want to feel like they look good in their clothes? But I also realized like this year my why has definitely changed into like I need to take care of myself for my family too. Like if I'm not healthy, um, I'm not I can't do the things I love and be there for the people I love, for you and the boys and so really that's kind of my priority is just like making sure that I'm doing everything I can to stick around for as long as I can because I'm like I'm only 37. I'm too young to feel like this, still want to look cute in clothes, but that'll come with confidence, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you look cute in clothes.
Thanks.
I almost said something else. I'm not going to because we'll
Uh-uh.
keep it. We'll spare the audience. Uh, yeah. So when it comes to goals, definitely want to make sure they're realistic, that you could pivot. I feel like I was going to say, oh yeah. I think I mentioned this in the beginning and I was like, I'm going to come back to it. And then I probably never did. So I'm going to try and connect the pieces. You know, there's sometimes you have goals, let's say business goals, for example, for me, and I have a hard time setting them because it's not always predictable. It depends on the economy and XYZ. But there are some things that I know that I could do in order to that are in my control, even if I can't control the outcome. I can control
Yeah.
my actions. And so basically, my goal there is to uh, stay consistent and just show up no matter what. And I do actually feel like I was pretty successful at that last year, despite everything. It was not easy.
Absolutely.
So I guess I at least have to acknowledge like I still did show up. It was very painful and it was hard. And I might not have been proud of the ways that I was showing up necessarily, but it was the best I had to offer in those moments. And I just want to continue to do that, but also acknowledge that that's enough. Before it was just, I'm not doing enough. I'm showing up, but I'm slacking. I'm not doing this and this and this and this. And then I'm just putting more pressure on and getting more anxious and just more burnt out.
Mhm.
So just trying to show up, have that be enough, and then, stick to my values, business values, life values, like authenticity, honesty, uh, and just always taking steps forward to better myself. And it's like, as long as I'm sticking to those things, then I'm going to be moving forward. And it doesn't matter what fucking year it is or
That's right.
whatever. Like, I'm taking steps forward every day. And that's what matters. So, yeah.
I like it. I like it.
But yeah.
Good job.
How about you? Like, how are you planning to kind of like, even if things are not going your way and motivation is in the gutter and life is a bit chaotic, or like, did you put some breaks in place? Because I think I talked about this a little bit last episode, where it's this weird push and pull where you're trying not to fall back into your old habits, but you're trying to still like push forward, but give yourself grace. Do you have like warning signs that you kind of pay attention to where you're like, oh shit, no, I'm falling too far back. I need to like push myself a little more. It's that fine line between giving yourself grace and giving yourself excuses. So
Yeah.
do you have any like checkpoints that you kind of run through in your head to think grace or excuses?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I feel like I struggle with that one a lot. I tend to avoid. Avoidance is my thing. Avoid, avoid, avoid. Because if you avoid it, it doesn't exist. It's not a
Yeah.
problem. So I think holding myself accountable and showing up, even if I don't necessarily like what's happening in the moment. Just showing up and being there and doing it, um, because I know it contributes to getting to where I want to be. You know,
Yeah.
as far as like warning signs, yeah, I, 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 I just avoid. I just avoid things. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I get really anxious and my mind races a lot and then I just go into fuck it mode. And then I have the self-shame spiral and all that bullshit that is just so toxic and so bad for me. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is not, you've worked so hard for this, like to do this to yourself. Mm, you know?
Yeah. 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 It's rough.
Ugh, it is so rough.
Do you have any little goals? So I feel like we had like kind of bigger, goals. And then I was talking about just showing up and not being, there's one other goal that I made where I was like, this goal, no matter what happens, you will do so that at the end of the year, you can look back and, you know, at least be able to say that you did that. But not only that, but it will also probably help me because it'll give me a lot of data. So basically, I was like, if anything, I want to journal every day of
Mm,
2026, every day. And it doesn't have to be a lot, it could be one sentence. So I'm giving myself like that much grace to be like, it doesn't have to be like a whole entry. It could literally be a sentence of like, fuck this day, it was awful, like just to get something out. And so you could look back and I'd be like, what happened that day? But like, yeah, so journal every day. And I just wanted to make this like my concrete, no excuses, no exceptions goal, because it's giving me data. I'm getting shit out of my brain. That's going to help no matter what. I can also look back, see where I was in life, apply, move forward. It's this way of being able to sort your thoughts and work through things sometimes when you don't even know why you're mad, you're angry, depressed, whatever. And so I was like, this will help me not only kind of build a habit and have something to be proud of, but I feel like it's simple enough that it's realistically doable and also helpful and can build my confidence and be like, I fucking did that. Let's do this again. Let's make another goal next year. That kind of thing. Is there anything like that you can think of that you set or that maybe you want to set?
That's hard. I mean, like, one thing I did today was throw out all these like smaller clothes that I haven't been able to fit into for a while. Because I like was constantly like, I can't get rid of it. I'm gonna fit into it one day. And then like every time I see it, I'm like, ugh, still can't wear it. And so I kind of I had this like moment of like, I have to let go of this. Like, doesn't mean my goals are like not existent anymore, but like I just keep shame spiraling every time I look at these things. And so I threw out like 2 bags of clothes. And so I don't know, like one thing I really want to work on this year is like clearing out things that bring me more stress than happiness. And it's not really a little goal, but journaling is something I should do, and I say it all the time. And I need to find other hobbies as well that are good for me in my little rest moments. But I'm gonna have to think about that as far as like smaller goals. Yeah. Sorry, that was a shitty
Yeah.
answer, but
No, it's not. I put you on the spot. You got
you
time
did.
to
I did
think
not
about
know.
it. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I need something that I could tangibly do and like look back and be like, oh yeah, I completed that. So I'm gonna set a reminder, obviously, every day because you forget about things pretty
Yeah.
easily if you don't. So I will report back. I did it. So
I like it.
yeah, so some actionable takeaways here as we kind of wrap things up. Yeah, so one thing you ask yourself, so what did my life actually look like last year? And another thing to ask yourself, what drained me the most? And then 3, what systems failed me? Sleep, food, time, stress. Yeah, just ask yourself those questions if you're trying to look at like things to improve on for the next year and you're not sure. So that's a good way to start. And then also just, don't judge yourself. That's not what this is about. You're just collecting data. It's not about criticism. It's just looking at, how things looked and how you want things to look moving into the future. So yeah, if you are not ready to set goals, that's totally fine. It just because it's the first doesn't mean it's too late to set goals. You can set goals any day. It's just sometimes it's nice to have a fresh start, but you get a fresh start every day. You get a fresh start every minute, hour, whatever. So you could be like,
Absolutely.
all right, today at 4 p.m., I'm going to stop my bullshit. So just for some homework for you guys, if you haven't set goals yet, you're still contemplating them. So just observe for the next week, ask yourself those questions, do a little journaling, think about how you want this year to look, then kind of go from there. And just know that, if you start small, it's not because you're lowering your standards. It's because you actually care about those goals and you actually want to reach them someday, even if it takes you a little longer. But the trick here is if you don't want to start small because you think it's going to take you longer to get somewhere, chances are you're still going to get there quicker, because if you start too quickly, you'll never get there at all.
That's right.
So yeah, a little reminder with that. So yeah, I think that's about it. Just remember to aim for something that's realistic, build something that's gonna last long term, and don't also forget to like acknowledge small steps and stop and enjoy the little things of life because life is short. There's a lot of shit going on. You don't want to just focus on the negative. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
any
man.
takeaways for people, Des, that you can think of?
I think I say it all the time, but like be kind to yourself. Acknowledge the small things because even though they might seem small, you're like they're building blocks to achieving the goals that you want to achieve. And so you're getting somewhere. And so even if
Yeah.
it's a small thing, it's still a thing. It's still
Mhm.
more so than if you had taken no action whatsoever. And so like is it James Clear that it says that like every action you take is like a vote towards being the person you want to be? Like
Yeah. So,
something like that. It's a very accurate way of looking at things. And so yeah, don't ever say, "Oh, this is not enough." It's never enough. It's never enough. Let yourself be enough. Let the things you're doing be enough, even if they're small, even if it's a tiny little thing. Do it, and then be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I did that." That was, you
yep.
know,
Exactly.
pat yourself on the back and keep going.
Yep. And I was speaking to James Clear. That's one of the most popular books that people tend to read
It's
at the
really
new
good.
year. Highly recommend. It's a quick read. It's very helpful. I think it's self help books, right? Uh, yeah, you can
Yeah,
love or hate. It depends. I feel like they're all just they say all this, they all say same shit, and they're all these people that like supposedly have these secrets to life. The reason I like Atomic Habits because it's not like a self help book. It's like these are actual tangible ways that you could create the habits that you want, and there's more like evidence based shit behind it, and it actually works if you apply it. I mean,
it
everything
really
works if you
does.
apply it, but you have to make it doable. And Atomic Habits actually helps you break that down and start small, uh, which we will also go over how to set goals. Uh, but the first thing about setting goals is making it realistic. So this whole fucking podcast is about making sure it's realistic because I needed to emphasize that because that is the biggest mistake I see happening. And even sometimes people think things are realistic, they're actually not. So just make sure especially when it comes to weight loss, if you think that, you're realistically going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks. I mean, if you weigh a lot, it's possible, but, everyone's different. Uh, it's not realistic for the majority, especially if you're doing it in a healthy manner. So always know the proper timelines when it comes to nutrition and fitness, especially. That's the only thing I could probably help guide you on. I don't know what your career timeline might look like, but yeah, can't get anywhere unless it's actually realistic. So that's what I just wanted to emphasize as much as I could. This episode, apologize for the random ranty opening, brought to you by ADHD medicine. But yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. One of my favorite openings. The more real you are, I think the better the podcast is. So,
Yeah. Well, thanks. You're very biased, but hey,
so people,
at the end of
please
the day,
comment, leave comments to tell him how great it is when he's actually real and like just tells us what's on his mind. Like it is great. But I know I'm
you're very
biased.
sweet.
So.
Thanks for being the best hype man.
Always,
um,
babe.
thanks to anyone who is still listening to this.
Yeah.
If you have not yet, make sure to subscribe. There will be more podcasts in 2026. That is definitely something that I want to, focus on moving forward is the podcast part of things. So stay tuned and thank you for listening and thank you for everyone who subscribed or listened to last year as I restarted the podcast. So, yeah.
We appreciate you.
All right, guys. Peace out and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.